Okay, so you've got this Veli Bahçeci on your radar, right? And you're thinking, who is this guy? Well, think of this as your, like, cheat sheet to his world. Yeah. We're diving into all things digital marketing, AI, the whole shebang. And to really get inside his head, we're starting with his website.
And what's fascinating, is how his journey actually began. Way back in 2007, Facebook was just starting to gain traction in Turkey, right? And Veli, he was one of the first to really see its business potential, like way ahead of the curve.
Wow, so no rule book, no online courses back then, huh? He was just figuring it out as he went. That's gutsy.
Totally. And that hands-on experience, especially in those early days, that's invaluable. I mean, he
Yeah.
was right there as digital marketing was evolving, changing so fast.
Right, like the Wild West of marketing, almost.
Exactly. And I think that's what makes him so relatable, especially for anyone trying to navigate today's crazy digital world.
Makes sense. So, speaking of navigating, let's talk about this Arriva thing. It's a big part of his work, right?
Yeah, Arriva is his baby,
Right.
basically. It's his growth marketing firm where he's all about data-driven strategies.
Yeah.
It's not just about gut feeling anymore.
So, let's try this because it sounds good, and more like the numbers say this is the way to go.
Exactly. Data-backed decisions, tailored solutions, it's a whole different ballgame now.
Yeah.
And they work with everyone from like huge brands to small startups,
Yeah.
They really tailor their approach.
Interesting. So it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal.
Nope, not at all.
Mm.
And it goes beyond just, developing strategies. Avili also offers consulting and mentorship through Arriva too.
Ah, okay. So he's really invested in helping others succeed as well.
Oh, absolutely. And that's even more apparent when you look at Royava Academy.
Right. The academy. Talk about dedication, right? He's
Wow.
got this whole program for teaching this stuff.
He does. It's all about AI, digital marketing, growth marketing. I mean, it just shows how committed he is to sharing his knowledge. Not everyone does that.
Sure. He could easily just keep all those secrets to himself. So he's not just a CEO, he's an educator too.
Yeah.
And I've heard he's a pretty popular speaker at these industry events as well.
Oh, yeah. He's definitely seen as a thought leader in the space. No question.
Mm.
Which, when you think about it, it's pretty amazing. He went from basically teaching himself to being the guy everyone wants to learn from.
It's a pretty incredible trajectory when you put it like that.
It really is. And then on top of all of that, you've got his AI and marketing boot camp, which is a whole other level of impressive.
Okay, yeah, everyone and their mother is talking about AI these days. What's so special about his take on it?
Well, for one, it was the first of its kind in Turkey, which is huge. He saw the potential of AI in marketing way before most people, and he's actively shaping how it's being used.
Wow, so he's not just talking the talk, he's walking the walk.
Exactly. He's not just saying AI is important, he's showing you how to actually use it.
And that's what makes it so valuable, right? He's giving people the tools to actually do something with AI. It's not just some abstract concept. It's like, here's how you use it to grow your business.
Right, exactly. It's all about practical application, which I think is key. It shows that he really gets what businesses need in this new AI age. But it's not all about, algorithms and data with him. He's also super involved in mentoring startups, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, that mentorship aspect is huge. I mean, being part of programs like K-Works and StartHub, that's a serious commitment to helping the next generation of entrepreneurs.
Totally. And I think it speaks to his own experience. He was once that young entrepreneur figuring things out, and now he's paying it forward.
It's true. It's like he's come full circle, which is actually a perfect segue into my next thought. We've talked about his early days with Facebook, Oral Viva, the academy, the AI stuff, the mentorship. What's the common thread? What's the Veli Bahçeci X factor?
That's a good question. I think, well, for me, it seems like it's his ability to connect those dots, between the crazy tech advancements and how they actually work in the real world.
Like, he sees the potential not just in the technology itself, but in how it can be used to achieve actual goals.
Exactly. He's not just interested in the shiny new toys. He wants to see how they can drive real growth.
Which is ultimately what it's all about, right? Results. So for our listeners who are like, okay, this Veli guy sounds interesting and all, but what's in it for me? Murrow, what would you say?
Well, I think Vili's story shows that you have to be adaptable. Like, he went from figuring out digital marketing on his own to becoming an AI expert, which is pretty incredible when you think about it.
So it's that whole lifelong learning thing, right? Never stop exploring.
Exactly. And that's so important in the digital age, especially now with AI changing everything so rapidly.
Totally. So if you're feeling stuck or like you're falling behind, just remember Vali's story.
Exactly. You can always learn and grow no matter where you are in your journey.
I love that. Okay, so for our listeners who are ready to dive deeper into Veli Bahçeci's world, where should they start?
His website is definitely the best place. You can find articles he's written, more info about Roiva, the Academy. He's got a lot going on.
Yeah, and don't forget about that AI in marketing boot camp. For
Yeah.
anyone who's serious about like upping their AI game.
Absolutely. It's the real deal. And,
Yep.
one thing I really appreciate about his approach to teaching, it's not intimidating.
Yeah.
He breaks things down so they make sense, even if you're not a tech expert.
Which is so important, right?
Yeah.
AI can seem really daunting, but he makes it feel approachable.
Totally. He demystifies it. He gets that at the end of the day, it's about using these tools to get stuff done. It's not about the tech itself, it's about the results you can achieve.
Practical application. Love it. And speaking of practical application, we've talked a lot about what Veli does, but what can we like personally learn from his journey?
That's a good question. I think one of the biggest takeaways is the importance of always being willing to learn. Veli's never satisfied with where he's at. He's always pushing himself to grow and evolve.
Which, I mean, when you really think about it, that's how he got to where he is today, right? Always learning, always adapting. It's pretty inspiring.
It really is.
Yeah.
He shows us that it's possible to, not just survive, but thrive in this constantly changing world. And that's a powerful message no matter what you do.
Absolutely. It's not about like becoming an overnight expert. It's about being open to new possibilities and being willing to learn new things.
Exactly. And I think, for me at least, what's really inspiring about Veli is that he's not just along for the ride. He's actively shaping the future of digital marketing and AI. He's not waiting for things to happen. He's making them happen.
He's a true trailblazer. And that's something we can all aspire to, right? Taking control, making our own mark.
Absolutely. So to wrap up this deep dive into Veli Bahçeci's world, what's the key takeaway you want our listeners to walk away with today?
I think it's that anyone can achieve incredible things with the right mindset. Veli's journey is proof of that. He went from teaching himself digital marketing to becoming a leading voice in AI. It's pretty remarkable when you think about it. So, yeah, I hope our listeners feel inspired, like if Veli can do it, why not them?
Couldn't agree more. He's a real testament to the power of curiosity, hard work, and that constant desire to learn and grow.
Exactly. And on that note, we'll leave you with this final thought. If Veli, who was basically self-taught in those early days of digital marketing, can become this like AI rock star, what's stopping you from going after your own big, ambitious goals? Just something to think about as you go about your day. And that's a wrap on our deep dive into the world of Veli Bahçeci. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing those boundaries.